It's Tony right when all you ever hear is a Hello, friends. Welcome to the second edition of What He Said. So happy you could join me. I want to remind you to please hit the like button and subscribe and share. Thank you so much. Just want to share a few nuggets with you. Today, I want to talk about clutter. You need to get rid of the clutter in your lives, in your home, in your car. That's what I'm working on doing. Um, getting rid of the nouns, Nouns, the nouns, people, places, and things. During this quarantine, I'm packing up bags and boxes of clothes and things that I don't use anymore to get rid of them. Yes, I am. But I want to share something funny that happened to me a couple of years ago. Those of you who know me know that I like to thrift shop. Well, I was in a store that I frequent and I saw this cute top. And I said, oh, I got to get this. This is cute. I tried it on, fit me perfectly. And I bought it. And after I got in the car, I thought, oh my God, this is my top. This is a top that I donated to this store and I'm buying it again. Oh my goodness. And the thing is, I had bought it initially from the store, wore it for a couple of years, and then donated to the store, back to the store, and here I am buying it again. Think about it. That's what some of us do in our lives. We release people, we let go of people that God has told us to let go. We let go of places, we let go of things, let go of the old, and then we pick it up, turn around and pick it up, go back to the vomit that we just threw up. It's time to let go of the clutter in your lives. Um, I'm not saying that every person, place, or thing is a bad thing, but everything that's good, you think it's good, it looks like a good thing, is not God. Hello. Um, I used to say that I am not a hoarder, or then when I started acknowledging that I'm a hoarder, I would say I'm a neat hoarder. But it doesn't matter, neat or not. I'm not one of those people that has junk everywhere, all over the sofa, can't walk, that kind of hoarder. But if you look in my closet, if you look under the bed, you might find some stuff that I'm trying to hide. But check this out. Hoarding is hoarding. Whether you're neat, whether you're sloppy, whether you're junky. How about some of us are hoarding unforgiveness and hoarding strife and hoarding jealousy. We can't go forward in the things that God has called us to do, holding on to that stuff. We've got to let go of all of it. The things that sometimes God puts people and things in our lives for a season. One of my former pastors used to call them scaffolds. Scaffolds, I guess I'm saying it right. Uh, when you build a construction or at a construction site, you see the construction workers working on a scaffolded thingies that are around the building to help them get up to do whatever they're doing, laying bricks or whatever they're doing. But at some point in the production or the construction work, the scaffolds come down. And so it is in our lives. There are people that are put in our lives for that season, and then at some point, they're not going where we're going, and it's time to let go. And I perceive that some of you, and myself included, are holding on to people, places, and things that were just scaffolds in our life, and it's time to let them go so that we can move forward. You can't move forward and look back at the same time. You're going to trip. Somebody's going to get tripped up if you do that. Remember Lot's wife? She turned to a pillar of salt. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to become frozen and stagnant in our lives and can't move forward because we're constantly looking back. Um, Yes, as I was saying, I was a hoarder, have been a hoarder, and didn't realize I was because I wanted everything in place. But I would stuff, and even today, I when I moved here, I didn't have all my things with me. I had them in storage in another state. Once I got them, I was like, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Because I downsized to where I am now, but I still had all this stuff. So I still have things in closets and in boxes, and I'm I purpose in my heart that during this pandemic, I'm getting rid of some stuff. I'm packing up some things, and I'm also packing up some unforgiveness and some strife, and I'm getting it out of my life because I want to change. And in order to change, we've got to do something. In order to change, we've got to change. Change will manifest. We want to ask God to do this and that and the other in our lives, but there's some things that He has left up to us to do, to lay aside. The Bible says, lay aside every weight that does so easily beset you. So there are some things, hey, that we've got to lay aside. There's some people that we've got to lay aside. There's some things, some places we've got to lay aside, and we know it, and it's time to do it. Because you can hide it up under the bed, the unforgiveness, the strife, and all of that. You can hide it up under the bed if you want to. You can put it in the closet if you want to and think that nobody sees it. But guess what? Unforgiveness is still unforgiveness, whether you look pretty with it in your heart, hiding or not. Eventually, it's going to come to the surface. All of that will come to the surface. Get rid of the clutter in your lives and in your minds. Yes, some of us have clutter in our minds. I know how I have dealt with that during this pandemic, even just thinking about a bunch of stuff and just filling my mind. That's why we've got to be renewed in our minds. We've got to be renewed in our minds, present ourselves living sacrifices, holy and acceptable unto God, which is our reasonable service. It's the least we can do. Be transformed by the renewing of our minds. We can't be transformed if we don't put something else in our mind. If we still thinking the same things that we used to think, the negative things about our lives, then we will not be transformed. We'll still be doing the same thing that we've been doing, thinking the same way that we've been thinking. It's time to get rid of the clutter in our minds, in our lives, in our homes. Yes, this pandemic has been very trying for all of us, even those of us who are believers and do have a relationship with the Father. It has been very, very trying, but it can work for our good. It can work. The Bible says all things work together for good to them that love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. So it can work for our good. It will if we allow it to, by making some changes in our lives. Number one, getting rid of the clutter in our lives. And that's what I'm endeavoring to do. Remember, our first edition, I talked about stop worrying about appearances. Let's stop worrying about appearances, but let's get the clutter out of our lives so we can hear clearly, we can think clearly, and we can move forward in the things of God, in our kingdom assignment. Does that sound good to you? It sounds good to me. It ministers to me. So this concludes our edition, second edition of What He Said. It's been so good chatting with you. Remember, you have endless energy and boundless strength. I decree that it is so. Goodbye.